What's up, guys? Glassjaw Podcast here. Thanks for tuning in. It is Monday, November the 1st. Happy first of the month. Hope everybody had a great, safe weekend. Of course, it was Halloween weekend, and even more so, it was the UFC 267, which was an amazing card from start to finish, prelims, everything, dude. Fucking, it stood up to everything I was expecting, anyways. And it was a great thing to be able to witness. I had a great time watching it, even though it was ass early, 7:30 in the morning. I'm in San Diego, and I got up. I made sure of it. It was worth it, though. What a great fight card. I'm not gonna really get into the prelims, even though there was a lot of good prelims. I know the main event, she looked really good. She had a pretty dominant victory. I'm glad to see her back looking like she looked. She's going to be a threat if she keeps doing it the way she did it on Saturday. So I was excited about that. She looked in shape. Cardio looked great, and everything in between. She got the win. I believe it was a unanimous decision. Yep, the unanimous decision. And her opponent, and she's a great fighter. So it was good to see her against a tough opponent and do what she did, and hope to see more from her in the future. But let's jump into the main card. Crazy card, super stacked. The first one, Magomed Ankalaev and Volkan Ozdemir. This one was crazy. I mean, they were going back and forth. These guys are crazy beasts, big dudes, light heavyweights. I mean, they were throwing it on each other. Ankalaev he just had a little bit more. He got the decision. It went all three rounds. It was back and forth. Ozdemir, I mean, he looked good. I've seen this guy fight in the past. I mean, he's got heavy hands, good kicks, fucking tree trunk legs. But I just think Ankalaev, he's on a different level. 16-1. He's climbing up that ladder. I mean, light heavyweights, watch out because this dude, he's the real deal and he's coming and he ain't fucking around. The welterweights. So this was a big fight. Obviously, it was a return. Chimaev, everybody was excited to see him come back. I mean, me personally, I wasn't exactly sold on this guy. He's been in there. He's 10-0 now. He had his streak going, and just I don't know. The guys that he was facing, to me, weren't those championship bound fighters. So he was mowing through them. I think he had two first round KOs his last two fights. The prior two fights, both submission wins. I mean, yeah, he was slaying these dudes. I get it, and I think there's a lot of hype behind him. He's a fun fighter. He's very energetic, very positive, very confident, which is good. I mean, I definitely, agree that you need to have all those things to become a champion. And then he fought Li Jinglong. I personally thought Li Jinglong had a good chance in winning this fight. This guy's been in there with the who's who. I think his first fight was like in, I don't know, 2004. Like this guy's been in the fucking UFC for a really long time. He's not super active. He fights about once a year, so I wasn't really sure what we were going to see. 18-7, but he has really heavy hands, and I thought that he was going to give Chimaev a run for his money. If you watch the fights, you know that didn't happen. First round submission, 3 minutes 16 seconds in, he basically got picked up, slammed on the floor, taken control of, switched a few rear naked choke arms around, ended up getting the tap pretty damn fast. It was a little disappointing for me, but it makes me feel a little bit better about Chimaev. I mean, I think that he still needs stronger opponents. I think that there's, no way around him getting in there. He's been throwing out Nate Diaz, he's been throwing around a couple names. Leo Magny, I think, is a good match for him. I think that name was thrown around, and I think that that's a good next fight. somebody who's got some experience. He's got some bigger names under his belt. He's done those battles. I think it's a good fight. I mean, we want to see him really tested, and I feel like that hasn't been the case. Lee was probably the best of what he's fought up until now, and of course he fucking destroyed him. But still, again, Lee's not very active. He doesn't have the biggest names under his belt as well. I'd like to see a Neil Magny. They're throwing around, a Gilbert Burns. Those are bigger names. Burns fighting for the title. Those ones we want to see him. I want to see him get tested a little bit. Get out there and see somebody that's going to take you into the second round, take you into the third round, possibly. I mean, if you get these guys under your belt, great. I mean, it's going to be, more beneficial for when you start hitting the top 5, 3, and obviously a title shot. But as of right now, he looks good. The hype train, I'm jumping on it. I think he's really, really, he has the potential to be a great fighter. I just want to see him tested a little bit more. Alexander Volkov, he went in there. This was a pretty good fight. He got the decision, 3 rounds. It was a little bit of a slower fight. Again, these heavyweights, I don't really know what their future is. I don't see them championship bound. I didn't see that performance out of him, even though he got the win, was anything special. He did what he needed to do, and he got the win. I mean, put it on there, put another notch on your belt. I get it. But as far as title contention or jumping in there, heavyweights, we're talking about some big boys. There's some good competition up there. I don't know if Volkov has that, championship fight in him. Even to get to that level, I definitely don't think that puts him anywhere in there, this last fight. But even if it didn't, the next guy up, we got to see what happens. He's been around 34-9. The guy's got a lot of fights under his belt. If you don't have it by now, I don't know if you're going to ever have it. Nothing against, him and the win he got. But, it's just a different style, a different level. And I don't know if he's got what it takes. So the big Islam, Makhachev, Dan Hooker, this one was tough for me. I mean, this one was really tough to watch. I think Dan Hooker's great. I was talking on my Instagram a little bit about, because they think Islam's ready for a title shot. There's a lot of big names in that lightweight division, that they need. Is he a lightweight? Yeah, lightweight division. He needs more competition. He needs more. There's RDA. There's big names there that, Michael Chandler, we'll see after the Gaethje fight. For him to jump over, 3, 4, 5 guys to get the title shot just because he's got the hype train, he's got Khabib in his corner, I don't think that's right. Let this guy climb the ladder. Let this guy take some bigger fights. As much as we love Dan Hooker, I think Dan Hooker, extremely inconsistent. He's lost, I think he's lost 2 of his last 4 fights or 3 of his last 4 fights. We like how he'll scrap anybody. He'll jump in there short notice. He'll take the fights back-to-back months. I mean, you can't not like that out of a fighter. But when we're talking about, these different level fighters that are getting into championship, either been there and fought for it or they're climbing that ladder to fight for it, I think Makhachev has a little bit more work to do. Let's not just start throwing this shit at him and allow him, just because he's got the hype behind him right now, to just get a title shot. And, these guys are out here busting their ass, fighting each other, kicking each other's ass for it. And he needs to do the same. Not that, he hasn't, but if you look at his record, he doesn't have big names. You could look at most of his UFC fights and not really know who he's fought. So I think he needs to get in there, and we need to start hearing bigger names and his name next to him as the winner, and in good fashion. If you go in there and you do a 3-5 round whatever fight and they're bangers, and there's just a little bit more respect to gain, from my side, from my end as the fan, watching these other cats go in there and, kick each other's ass up and down the octagon, and then, they get that next shot and the next shot and then the title shot, opposed to this guy fighting, and not so much. Dan Hooker, the best that he's fought, and he, went in there, choked him out super fast. First round, 2 minutes 25 seconds. I get it, but at the same time, like I said, let's keep fighting. Co-main event: Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, fight of the year, or it's been thrown out there that title. Great fight. Yan, fucking animal, dude. This guy's a beast. Corey Sandhagen, I like this dude. I think he's the same as like the Hooker and those guys that are, their game opponents. They're about it. They want to fight. They love the fight. They're confident. But there's just a different level in some of these fighters that you really get to see when they're in there with them. You put Sandhagen against a Dillashaw, and Dillashaw's good. He had his big layoff. He had his suspension. He came back. He looked good. I personally think Sandhagen won that fight. But then you get Peter Yan. That's just, this guy's just levels above the best that's in there. I think he's gonna fly through Sterling. And I think that he's gonna get that title, and he's gonna hold it for a very long time. So nothing against Sandhagen. Back to the drawing board again. Sandhagen, he's been in there with some good guys. He lost to Sterling. He got choked out by Sterling. Maybe redeem a few of those losses. I feel like the style is very, he's not very strong. He's not going to really knock you out. Of course, he's going to knock you out with a knee. I know he did it to Frankie Edgar. I know he did it to a couple other guys. I get that. But with hand strength, you put a knee to anybody's fucking face flying, you're going to get knocked out. That's just what it is. But actual hand power, punching power, I think he needed to use more of his ground game this fight, even though I know he tried. I felt like it was more just a bait, just to kind of get, Yan to be thinking about the takedown, but wasn't really serious about getting the takedowns. And I felt like the standing game wasn't there. He got some good kicks in. Yan's a fucking animal. He was eating them like chicken. And I think that, Corey just needs to go back, put on a little bit more muscle, a little bit more weight, work on your boxing. His boxing is good. He's a very active fighter. He stays really busy in there, throws a lot of punches. And that works on some people, just the volume alone. But to me, you're going for decision wins when you're doing like that. I know he's got unorthodox spinning kicks and back kicks and, flying knees and all that good stuff. But, with these guys that are just bulldogs in the ring, like a Yan, who just stands in front of you and fucking, he's got good head movement. He's just really strong. He throws great punches straight down the pipe. And he's not really fazed by all the extra movement and excessive punches without anything on him. He's not really fazed by any of that. He's going to eat them. He's going to pick his punches. He's going to dissect you while he's fighting you. And he came out. He lost the first round. I seen it. We all watched it. I had him losing the first round. He looked really good, Sandhagen. And then you can just visually see the decline of Sandhagen, and just Yan kind of took it over and took him down. I feel like Sandhagen might have took the fifth round. Maybe Yan was getting a little tired in there. He could have. He was doing pretty active too. But at the end of the day, he won the fight. And good. Because he went in there and he put on a good showing, and good for him. Next for him is obviously Sterling. Sterling's come out and he's talked and talked and talked. I don't think Sterling gets out the second round with this cat, but we'll see. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not a big Sterling fan to begin with. I think that he has a little too much hype behind him. But, this is going to be the next fight that we're going to be able to watch, and we're going to be able to put that, nail in the coffin as far as the Sterling Yan thing, obviously because of the, illegal knee. But great fight. Great fight. And then the main event, light heavyweight title, Glover Teixeira, Jan Blachowicz. It was a crazy fight. I don't know what happened to Jan. I don't really know what it was. It didn't look like him. It didn't look like textbook. But nothing against Glover Teixeira. He went in there, he pretty decent first round. Um, they went back and forth. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. I think Blokovic got some good punches in, and so did Teixeira. I just think that a second round he came out. I don't know. He just didn't look like he wanted to be in there. I mean, it's a little frustrating when he looks so good against Stylebender that even though it was a different weight class for Stylebender, I don't really believe too much on that whole like those 15 pounds or 10 pounds. I know they make a difference, but not a big difference. And so he looks so good against Stylebender, and then he comes in here, big hype, big stage, and he goes out there, and I didn't even see the tap really. It looked like it was on the jaw. It didn't really look like it was under the jaw, around the neck. But I don't know. I didn't like what it looked like. I didn't like how it just looked like he kind of laid down. I'm not saying anything like he let him or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but whatever Jan was thinking, or if he was in his head a little bit, I don't really know. But whatever it was a little disappointing because I thought that could have been a banger. He should have went out. He's a fucking champion of the damn world. And I wanted to see a little bit more from him. I wasn't too happy with the performance. Of course, he wasn't either. Stand-up guy. I mean, he'll be back. He'll fight again. Probably rematch against him. He deserves it. And then we'll see. Glover Teixeira, guy's been in the game forever. I mean, forever. He deserves the title. He deserves to hold it. He deserves to defend it. I don't want to take anything away from him. I don't want to make it sound like I am. I just was a little bit disappointed, on Jan. I just think he had, more in there, and it didn't come out because we've seen it. Everybody has their days. He lost the title. I'm sure it wasn't easy for him to do that. But yeah, great fights. Saturday was an awesome card, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. Let's talk a little bit about social media. I know there's a few fight announcements. There's a big controversy on one of the fights on this card about the referee not stopping it. When he should have. It was one of the prelims. The guy was getting his ass kicked. I'm not exactly sure the names right now. But he came out in a statement, said if it can crawl, it can brawl, which is a pretty fucked up statement, if you ask me. But they didn't let him do another call. They didn't let him referee another card. I think he had like one more bout in that card, and they didn't let him do it. They were a little teed off about the whole situation. I get it. I mean, we're talking about fighter safety here. We can't let that be something that, if you've gotten to this point in your career that you're refereeing these big events, you got to have a little bit more sense than that. And that wasn't what we seen on that fight, speedy recovery to the fighter that was in there. Chimaev, he's calling out all these guys. Nate Diaz, it's one that he was calling out. Not a good fight for Diaz. I mean, I know Diaz he has one more fight on his UFC contract. I like to either see the trilogy with Conor. I don't like this fight. It's not the style for him. I think this is really his last fight in the UFC. As crazy as that sounds, I think that it's a wrap for him. But I think there's a lot more money to be made out there, especially for him. He's done what he needed to do. He's getting, I think he's 35 years old. I mean, he's rounding that, into the career type thing. And he's done enough. We all know who Nate Diaz is. We'll all remember who Nate Diaz is after he's gone. So I think this is it for him after this fight. So, make it a little bit more competitive. Don't throw him in there with this fucking up and coming beast fucking guy. Not that, Nate Diaz, I think he'd have a chance on the ground with this guy, but you just don't want to see that being the last fight, or I don't anyways. What else do we got in the news? I mean, let's see. I mean, a lot of it is just, this upcoming weekend. I mean, Saturday, obviously it's the big card that we've all been waiting for, or at least I have. as far as let's see what we got here. Um, Sterling says he'll return January or February. I mean, that's good. A few months, Jan will be ready. Jan will go in there and fucking whoop his ass, and then we'll be done with that shit. Because I'm telling you right now, um, I'm over it. I'm over him just like thinking that he has any chance or any, um, any say in anything in that division. And all he does is fucking talk shit. It's pretty fucking stupid, to be honest. Um, okay, so Saturday. 268, right? UFC 268, November 6th. Usman Covington 2. Crazy, crazy card, man. Rose, Zhang, Gaethje, Chandler, Burgos, Quarantillo, Edgar, Vera. I mean, what the fuck, dude? I mean, this is crazy. And I can't wait. Iaquinta, Bobby Green is on the prelims. It's a great fight. Alex Pereira, this gentleman is from Glory Kickboxing. He's the guy that's knocked out Adesanya twice, or he's beat him twice. I think he knocked him out once, maybe both times. I'm not sure. So he's 2-1 in his mixed martial arts career. He's got the headliner on the undercard. Iaquinta, Bobby Green is the co-main, which is going to be a fucking banger. Super excited about that. Let's see. I mean, so, Usman Covington, I'm a big fan of Covington. Not the person, that he portrays, but the fighter. This guy's a fucking animal. I think Usman, this guy he's a beast, dude. It's going to be a great fight. Usman gets better and better every time we see him. Covington's been out for a little while. He beat Woodley. Then he's taken a little bit of time off. I mean, he says he's waiting for Usman. Well, he's got him now. And, I can't wait. Rose, Zhang. Rose, I don't want to call it. Rose is good. She's really good. But I really, really think that, that kick, it was a great kick, knocked Zhang out. This fight's going to be a little different, obviously, unless she gets kicked and fucking knocked out again. But if, Zhang's got what it takes. I don't want to take anything away from Rose, but I don't want to take anything away from Zhang. Zhang's got what it takes. She's a good fighter. I think that, she got caught early. It happens. I think it's going to be a completely different fight come Saturday. She's a fucking animal, dude. She's training to kill. I know she is. And I think that we're all going to see a different Zhang because she was devastated with her loss, the way it happened and everything else that came with it. Not that, I mean, Rose is crazy too. This is going to be an insane fight. I don't really know who I have on this one. If I had to, I'd probably lean more towards Zhang for the rematch. But you know what? Rose, I mean, this girl's great. Gaethje, Chandler, crazy fight. These two, I mean, I'm a fan of Gaethje. I like the guy's style. He's come a long way. He came into the UFC. He was one of those guys that just scrapped and fucking banged it out. He would get knocked down, get knocked out, knock out people. I mean, but he's came a long way. He's a little bit better of a fighter as far as, he's a little more disciplined now. And it shows. He's gotten a little further, I feel. And I feel Michael Chandler, this guy's been in there with the who's who, in Bellator. And I like it. I like this fight. I mean, it's a great matchup. I think Gaethje takes it. I think Gaethje just has too much power. I think that, Michael Chandler, it's just tough. If he uses his wrestling, that's going to be his road to victory is going to be the takedowns, the ground and pound, taking Gaethje's power away because Gaethje's power is going to be what ends Michael Chandler. So we'll see. I'm excited. Crazy, crazy fight, man. I can't say it enough. Shane Burgos, this guy's a fucking animal. I love this dude's fighting style. Billy Quarantillo, I don't know too much about this guy, 16-3. But, I'm sure he's been in there and he's ready to, his fight against Burgos because Burgos brings it, dude. This guy's a banger. Frankie Edgar, we all know Frankie Edgar. And then Marlon Vera, he's the gentleman. he's been in there. I mean, he's got some good ones under his belt. I need to see more from him. He had the fight against O'Malley, and people call it a fluke. O'Malley got an injury, um, but that's the biggest name that I've had him against or seen him against. Frankie Edgar would be the next. Frankie Edgar is crazy. I mean, this guy, he's still doing it. I remember watching MTV. Um, I'm a UFC fighter or I'm an MMA fighter. I mean, that had to be like in fucking, I don't even know, 2000 something, 2005 or six or one of those. And he was in it. I mean, was young. He's fucking 40 years old. I mean, he's still doing it. So we'll see what happens. This card's crazy. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to it. I know I am. Um, and yeah, I'm excited. I mean, we'll get to see, what happens with these rematches. These are both, these two co-main and main are both rematches, both title fights. And, hopefully we get some hands raised that we weren't expecting because I like Covington in this. I think people fight me on the Covington thing. And, don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against Usman. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's got, just as good of a chance as anybody. I just think Covington, is a little underrated, and it's more because of his persona and the way he, talks shit and disrespectful and all that bullshit. But I think as a fighter, this guy's good, and I think we're gonna see that, come Saturday. Well, all right, that's it for me on Glass Jaw. I just wanted to get on, talk a little bit about Saturday, the upcoming Saturday. I'll be watching them on pay-per-view. Until then, everybody have a safe week and see you later.